Gentleman yields back. Chair recognizes Mr. Fallon for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It was just stated that the walls don't work, and yet there's one going up right on the Capitol right now against our recommendation. So, that's interesting. Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd also like to thank the chiefs for coming and joining us today. We're on a tight time schedule, so chiefs, if I interrupt you at all, it's only because I'm trying to make your time as efficient as possible. Now, I fully understand the realities at the border and the concerns of retaliation that you may have by some administration officials if what you say here angers those in power, so even if it's truthful. So having said that, all I'm going to ask you to do is to provide factual information and answers. Sound fair? That's all I want. Chief Chavez, would you describe the current situation in present conditions at the southern border as either good or bad? Simple.
I would describe it a bit overwhelming.
Overwhelming, so a synonym for bad. I would actually probably add terrible. So let me ask it another way. How long has Customs and Border Patrol been keeping and publishing records of illegal crossings on a monthly basis? Roughly. About 20 years?
On a monthly basis,
Yeah.
well, I've been in 27 years. I've probably been seeing them for about 25 years.
Yeah, I think it's about that. So what's the worst month in recorded history for illegal crossings? And when I say worst, like the highest number?
In my 27-year career, I have to look Congress.
I think it's actually it's last month, which was December. It was 251,487. Was the worst month ever in over almost a quarter century. That's the very definition of bad and terrible. But before December, were you aware of the worst month before December? And we're talking about almost a quarter of a century. The worst month, do you know, offhand? If you don't, I know.
I can't think right now of the
It's
worst one.
also 2022.
Okay.
It was in May, and it was 241,136 crossings. And before May, it was the very previous month of April, which was 235,785 illegal crossings. So prior to the Biden administration, chiefs, and either of you, are you aware of any month we ever had that was over 200,000? Either? No?
I'm unaware, sir.
No, sir.
Because it had never happened before. And yet, the last 10 months in a row have been over 200,000 illegal crossings. So that's astonishing. And in fact, it's safe to say that what's going on the southern border is tough, it's trying, and it's terrible. And there's a glaring difference between this administration and the past. And one of the policies was the Wait in Mexico policy, where we said, your asylum case will be adjudicated while you wait in Mexico. Would you not agree, Chief Chavez, that effective policies such as the migrant protection protocols are vital to deterring illegal immigration at the border?
During my time in El Paso, we had the migrant protection protocols, and they were effective during the years that I was a chief in El Paso.
So they were effective.
It helped manage capacity
Thank
at the facility.
Chief Fallon, do you believe the Mexican drug cartels present a clear and present danger to the safety and security of the United States?
Thanks for the question, sir. I would say that the drug cartels and their control of the border just south of our border is a very significant problem.
So I've seen estimates, and would you agree that's about their income is about $25 billion a year just with the illegal narcotics trafficking? Does that sound about right?
Yes, sir. I've seen those same figures.
And then not to mention the $13 billion that they're now making with human smuggling because of all the folks that are coming in and the tax that they charge those people. So $38 billion when you combine those. That's the size of some nation states' entire GDP in a given year. So the cartels are dangerous, and they're deadly, and they're murderers. They're absolute worst of the worst.
Yeah, I think.
And you see it on the front lines, both of you. So as someone, if someone's committed and they take a constitutional oath to preserve, protect, and defend the United States and the safety of the citizens, doesn't it stand to reason that we should do everything within our lawful power to secure the border?
Sir, yes. So I took an oath to protect the United States. I take that very seriously. What I can tell you, I think it's very important that you brought up about the amount of money the cartels have. So these organizations, it's almost limitless. The funds they have, they don't have to follow policy. They don't have to follow law. They don't recognize the international border. They don't recognize state borders. So, you know, where we are, of course, confined by all those things or restricted by those things, they have absolute freedom in terms.
And absolute freedom, and I apologize to cut you off, but to smuggle in fentanyl, which I think we'd all agree is the most dangerous drug they're currently trafficking in, where something smaller than a tip of a pencil, 2 milligrams, can kill a human being. They smuggled in, and they've 24,000 pounds in the last 2 fiscal years. and they have killed 80,000 Americans in just 1 year. That is asymmetrical warfare being waged on the United States. And what we don't lack is your will to secure the border, the Border Patrol agents' will. We have the resources, we have the manpower, we have the technology. What we lack, Mr. Chairman, is Alejandro Mayorkas' will and Joe Biden's will to do so. I yield back.